Narcotics crackdown. President Trump is shrugging off reports he is eyeing Venezuelan military targets that his administration suspects are used for drug trafficking. That comes after a series of U.S. attacks on suspected Venezuelan drug boats. Lawmakers were briefed on the operation this week, but Democrats are still taking issue with it.
There's nothing that we heard in there that changes my assessment that this is completely illegal, that it is unlawful.
It wasn't completely satisfied at all. I still have a lot of questions that need to be answered, and I think they owe us some explanations.
I heard no strategy, no end game, no assessment of how they are going to end the flow of drugs into the United States.
Am I leaving satisfied? Absolutely not.
Joining me now is founder and executive director at the National Security Institute, Jamil Jaffer. Jamil, always good to see you. I wonder if you agree with those Democrat voiced concerns that what the Trump administration is doing in targeting these alleged Venezuelan drug boats is illegal, in their words.
Well, look, the president has laid out his legal rationale for going down this road. He said as commander-in-chief of the U.S. military and as chief executive, he has a responsibility to protect the nation from imminent threats. He says the flow of drugs into the United States that's killing tens of thousands of people is an imminent threat. He's taken action at the border to staunch fentanyl coming through China. And now he's talking about he's taking military action against Venezuelan drug boats coming to the United States. He's talked about taking action as well against Colombian assets as well with respect to cocaine. So the question then becomes, what is Congress going to do about it if they think that he's acting illegally? They can either authorize the use of military force, they can do nothing, they can fund the military to do these actions, or they can complain. And so at the end of the day, it's really on Congress to take action. They can also stop the president or try to limit the flow of funds to him to allow him to do that. But, you know, they have to take action to do that. Right now, the president has asserted his commander-in-chief authority, as have presidents for 250 years.
And we heard one of the Democrats there, Jamil, saying, I don't hear anything from the administration about a plan to stop the flow of drugs. Well, I think the administration response to that would be, you strike fear into the hearts of those drug smugglers, and that is the plan, because they will stop doing what they're doing. Do you think that is an effective plan?
Well, look, I think that we've been fighting this war on drugs for the better part of 3 decades. It hasn't worked very effectively, and there are lots of Americans dying as a result of illegal drugs flowing in, primarily, to be fair, from China through Mexico and the fentanyl trade. Now, there are drugs that are coming from Venezuela that are problematic, and the president is now taking affirmative action to address that. The question becomes, will that be effective? And I think the answer is, look, I mean, when you see people dying on the battlefield and boats being blown up, it's gotta, you know, at some level, make the drug dealers think twice about running those boats across the Caribbean. They've now got an aircraft carrier there in the Caribbean, along with its entire battle fleet and battle group. And the question becomes, will they be used against those assets? And if so, wouldn't that strike fear in the heart of any nation state, much less a drug cartel? I think the answer is yes.
Right, and Jamil, you talk about the resources that we have there. Do you think there is any prospect at all that at some point those resources are used to strike any targets on land in Venezuela? Because that would clearly take us to a very different situation.
I agree that would be a very different situation than conducting strikes in international waters against drug dealers. But look, the United States in the past has undertaken such action. We've said to countries around the world that if you are unwilling or unable to control your territory being used by terrorists and other transnational criminals, we will come after you. We've primarily only done in the terrorism context. Now President Trump is suggesting he might do it in the international criminal context, specifically with respect to drugs. We'll see if he actually goes down that road. It obviously changes the game dramatically. It puts us essentially in a potential state of war with another nation state. Of course, Venezuela is not going to be able to effectively punch back against the United States, but that's a big decision to make. The president hasn't yet made that decision, although interestingly, he has said that he's authorized CIA covert action in Venezuela. We don't know what that means specifically. It's unusual for a president to declare that publicly because that's the whole point of covert action is it's non-attributable. So we'll see what happens going forward, but if that does happen, you're right, that is a massive change in what we're doing.
Yeah, it is a fascinating situation to watch unfold, and we're grateful to have you guiding us through it. Jamil Jaffer, thanks very much for your time, sir.
Thanks for having me on.